In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a message box. Under the developer, we'll go ahead and insert a button, and this is how we're going to access our first message box. Go ahead and name it button1 _ click. As you can see, I've started a new workbook, so all the macros from the previous videos are not included. We're going to comment this and say, clicking creates a message box. Now to call a message box, you simply type capital MSG and then capital BOX. And for our first example, let's type welcome to VBA tutorials. Back in our workbook, you can rename the button if you like. And if you're unsure of how to do that, go to video 1, dealing with the command button. So once you click button, a window pops up or your message box pops up and it says, welcome to VBA tutorials. Now let's see how we can change this message box. I spelled welcome wrong, so I'm going to fix that first. Now, the message box starts with a prompt, and that's what we entered. The prompt is the string that's displayed inside of the message box. After the prompt, the rest of the commands are optional. So our first is called buttons. And buttons are things such as OK, cancel, abort, retry, or ignore, yes, no, and cancel, and so on. So there's a different combination, and you can look on Microsoft.com and go under the library for VBA and find those different combinations. But first we're going to start with VB OK cancel. And OK only is the default, so we don't need to go over that one. So now when we run that or click the command button that's on the page, you can see that there are two buttons on the box, OK and cancel. There's also VB abort, retry, ignore, and you can see abort, retry, and ignore. Each of these buttons also has a numerical value that corresponds. So for VB abort, retry, ignore, the numerical value that corresponds is 2. So if we were to type a 2, we would get the same exact buttons. If we wanted to do yes, no, you would type 4. And the buttons would be yes, no. And again, all of these are posted in the library on Microsoft or on a table on the MAMAP site. So mamap.com/visualbasics, and you will be able to access that. I'm just going to do OK cancel. So that's numerical value 1. And the next is the title of the message box. So to show you the title, I'm going to just type title goes here. And you put that in quotes because it is a string. So if I were to click the button now, you can see the title goes here, is the title of the message box. On a Mac, the title goes within the message box, but on a Windows, you will see the title of the message box in the header line. After the title, you can add a help file and context to access that help file, and that will be covered in a later video. Let's say that I want an icon to be associated within the buttons inside the message box. So VB abort, retry, ignore. Use the addition sign, and now an icon can go with it. So let's do VB critical. So this is the critical icon. Now, because I'm using a Mac, when I run this, just the Excel logo is displayed. The icons in this message box are a design difference from Windows and Mac. So if you're using a Windows computer, critical will be the X on the right VB information would be on the left, VB question would be the question mark, and VB exclamation would be the exclamation mark. So if you're on a Windows, you can use these different icons within the message box. And this is just a quick example of using the message box and understanding the different features.